What's going on? We're back. It's been a little while. I had some family stuff going on, so I just took a week off from playing any more Isaac. Let's just get into it. Random. See what we get. It's gonna be an Isaac Magdalene. I think our first run with Magdalene went pretty well, so excited to see how this one turns out. Magdalene's the main issue is just like this speed. I mean, like 0.85 speed is, it's just awful, really. Especially fighting, even with enemies like these. If you get into a tough spot, it's a difficult place to get out of. Today is Saturday. Woke up, went for a bike ride, had a Nature Valley protein bar. Absolutely delicious. The peanut butter and dark chocolate one, phenomenal. Went to Publix yesterday, I think. Buy one get one, easy buy. Although they also, they had the protein bars, and they have a little bin at the front of Publix. If you've never been, or at least the one I go to does, and it has all of the items which they have like a buy one get one deal running for at the current moment. It's like, like olive oil, or recently they've had the Sweet Chest. Recently they've had the Nature Valley bars there all the time, so just keep buying them. So I went there, I was like, oh, sick. So I grabbed like 6 boxes of these things because I'm like, they're not gonna expire. I mean, I could just buy like 20 of them. They're not gonna expire. I'm definitely gonna eat them. Why not? But then I get to the register and they're ringing them up, and the protein bars were in fact. Oh God, come on, really? This is what I'm talking about with the speed. Like, this is just stupid. Whatever. At least I'll actually use Yum Heart for once. Yeah, more speed. Oh, it's the first floor. Who cares, right? But yeah, so the Nature Valley, the protein bars were fine, but the the regular non-protein bar Nature Valley bars, not on sale. And like, I said that to the cashier. I was like, hey, aren't these on sale? And he's like, nah, these are full retail price. I'm like, well, they were in the bin. And, I know he probably didn't set up the display, so it's not his fault. But I was kind of hoping he'd at least be like, oh, I'm sorry they were in the bin, but they're full price. Or, better yet, he'd be like, hey, you know what? Since they were in the bin, we'll just give you the deal, and then call a manager over and figure it out, Obviously, you don't have to do that in that situation, but I think, really? Telefragging me? I think it's not a ridiculous thing to want, They were advertised as buy one, get one, and when I went to check them out, they were not buy one, get one, which is not cool, may I say. Anyways, it wasn't a big deal. The dude was like, nah, they're full retail price, and that's it. And I was like, okay, well, just take them off the thing, I guess. Kind of embarrassing. Obviously, it's a little bit different when, like, you're just doing it because it's not buy one, get one, and not... Really? I hate... Okay, Tiny Champions, we gotta stop this. They're not cool. But yeah, it's not like I couldn't afford them. It's just like, I'm not gonna pay like 80 cents a bar for these things. Like, they're good, but they're not that good. You can get ones that are like 80% as good at Aldi for like half the price per bar. Like, it's not the same. I'd much rather have the Nature Valley ones, but they're really only worth it worth the money when they're half off. So, yeah. I think I can't remember I think it was this morning. This happens a lot when you're out biking and there's a lot of people. Like, if you're doing it on like a weekend morning, well, a lot of people tend to be out there. But some of these people, man, they just they take up like the entire. Ooh, that was tight. They're sitting there. Somehow, they'll have like 3 people, and they'll take up the entire width of the path. And it's not like a sidewalk. Like, this thing is wide. I'm not that excited about that. Oh, we have a. Oh no, it's a double key room. I could go to it, but yeah, these are not thin road. Like, it's a bike path. It's probably like 10 feet wide. You know. Like, I was riding on the other day, and there was like an older woman and then like 2 kids. And older. She was like middle aged. She was probably like one of the kids' moms, and then the other kid was like the kid's friend or something. And these 3, they're riding the opposite direction as me, and they are like just not giving me like any room to get by them. Like, I kind of have to give the kid a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's just very new to riding his bike, but he was probably like 7 or 8, and he was riding a bike. You know, like, it's not that hard to steer on a bike. But he's giving me like no room at all. So I like, this whole time this lady's there. I thought she, at the very least, she would say something. She'd be like, "Hey, you know, get out of this guy's way." You know, like a responsible adult. Nothing. I forget what 4 does. I guess we'll find out. I think it just rerolls stuff that's on the floor. But now I'd like go like off the path and like very nearly like run into like a tree branch or something. Risk like hitting a bunch of rocks or something. Like, I know like he's a kid, right? Like I said, maybe he's just not very good at riding his bike yet. But like, come on, dude. At least the like the mom there should have been like, "Hey, Jimmy, give this guy some room. Come over a little bit." What really gets me though, like, that was a pretty rare example of this, right? Because most of the time, the issue is when you're coming up behind people, and they're taking up a lot of room on the bike path. Ooh. Okay, great. Take them both? I think we take them both. Worth. Definitely worth. Alright, sick. Let's keep moving. Good deal. But yeah, usually the issue is that you're coming up behind people and they don't see you're coming, and somehow they have like 3 people, or they have like a dog that's just all over the path. And so like this dog, hold on, you know what? I just realized I actually need to take care of my dog right now. Excuse me. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. Not that you had to actually wait. I mean, I kind of just paused the recording and then went off and did it, so no time really passed for you, but you know, whatever. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, yes, I was talking about dogs. Yeah, these. So when you're on the trail, right, and you're coming up behind someone, a lot of times they'll have like a dog, because people like to walk their dogs on the trail, which is, it's great, good for them, right? But their dogs will just be like all over the trail, right, going left, right, and they'll have them on a leash, so I can't just like bike past them, because like either A, I'm gonna hit the dog, or B, I'm gonna hit the leash, which is gonna like snag my tire and pull them like to the ground. So it's not really a good scenario, right? Yeah, people, they just need to be more aware when they're on the bike path that it turns out there are other people that use it. Sometimes people will just straight up like walk. It'll just be 3 people walking side by side and they're taking up like the whole path. I'm like, come on, dude. And yeah, like you can yell at them and be like, "Hey, on your left." I'd really rather not have to do that, And sometimes I remember I was biking up a sidewalk one time, which is actually pretty narrow, and there was this couple walking in front of me, and I hate these guys so much. There's this couple walking in front of me. I was coming up behind them, and I was like, hey, excuse me, or like, watch out or something, so you could, you know, step on the grass for a second while I went by. And like, they like really didn't, I said it a couple of times, I think, and like they just didn't hear me until I was like right next to them. And I like this, they were on the older side. The guy looked a lot older than the woman, but, and eventually, like, when I'm like right behind him, the woman turns around and goes, oh, okay, and then like kind of gets gets them out of the way. And this older guy, he's like, I could hear him talking about me. He's like, oh, should have said something. I'm like, I did say something. I literally said something. You just didn't hear me. It's not really my fault, you know. I don't have to like yell. I don't want to bike up behind people and start yelling at them. You know? Really? I mean, maybe I'll get bookworm, but it's not great. Excuse me. It's actually a little bit late right now. It's about 7 p.m. Just let my dog out a little bit. I mean, I took him for a long walk earlier today, so he pooped like twice. So I don't know. He was probably gonna be okay, but you know, you like to keep your dog in a routine, just like you like to keep yourself in a routine. Hopefully, you know. It was nice though. Nice bike ride, or not bike ride. Nice walk with the dog. It's not something I do very often, which even though I should really, considering I'm trying to lose like just a little bit more weight. You know, walking the dog. It's good exercise for the dog. It's good exercise for you. You know, it's really no reason not to, right? It's not like I'm doing a whole lot. Yeah, I probably should be studying for the CPA, but who wants to do that, you know? Boring. What we got? Okay. And I don't want Star Deck. Let's just keep moving. Decent run so far. I like decent DPS. The pact is definitely really doing some work for us. As well as Jesus Juice, really. We're definitely not breaking anything wide open yet, though. Sure. All right, that's an item right there. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Don't sneeze. It's like tickling the outside of my nose. I don't know what that is. Ooh. Yeah, this run is, with the addition of Cricket's Head, this run has become significantly more powerful. I've become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Well, not quite that powerful, but it's definitely getting there. I was actually stopped by Publix on Wednesday, which, for those unaware, Publix does $5 sushi on Wednesdays, which a lot of people like. I looked up I don't know why I looked it up on Reddit. I think I was just checking to make sure I understood the deal. I mean, the deal's pretty straightforward, right? If it's marked $5, it's $5. Like, it's not that complicated, but for whatever reason, I guess I was like checking if it was good quality sushi, and everyone was like shitting all over it. They were like, oh yeah, I had a friend who bought $5 sushi at Publix and he fucking died, you know? I don't think anyone actually wrote that, but there were people that are like, oh yeah, it gave me food poisoning. Although, I feel like at a certain point, when you're getting sushi from anywhere when you're getting pretty much any food from a grocery store, like directly from a grocery store like that, you're already accepting like a certain like ceiling of quality. Like, it's not gonna be great, you know? Like, the donuts you get from the grocery store, they're not gonna be like bakery donuts. They're gonna be like off a rack, frozen, whatever donuts, right? I mean, to be fair, Publix is usually pretty good about food in general. Like people, it's a normal thing to like go to Publix for like your lunch break or something, right? But I mean, especially with sushi, right? If you're getting sushi anywhere that isn't a sushi restaurant specifically, like you're rolling the dice, especially for $5. Like I've had Publix sushi probably like 10 or 15 times, and it's always been like really good. I mean, really good for $5 sushi. Although frankly, I enjoyed it more than much more expensive sushis I've ever had. Not that I've ever gone like crazy with hidden sushi, but I think the most expensive stuff I got, which isn't even that expensive. I think it was like a sushi chef's choice sushi sampler thing. It was like 8 rolls with like whatever meat the chef felt like putting on, and it was like $25. So not exactly cheap, right? You're paying like $3 per roll of sushi. And like it was funny too. The guy giving it to me, he was like explaining. He's like, okay, this is this kind of roll. This is a seared yellow fin tuna. This is a squid or I don't know, oyster. And I was like, thanks for telling me, but like I'm not remembering any of this. Honestly, you probably should have just like written it down. Do I wanna? This run is good, but it could be better. Let's do it. Oh my god, this run is so much worse. Just looking at this. Alright, head of the keeper. Sure. I'll keep the moon card. Okay, this run... Oh, a $3 bill? Yeah. On a very brief sampling of this run, it seems like pretty terrible. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta do something really stupid and just see what happens. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Do I have what's it called? Item that makes flies better. What's it called? Nah, I can't. I don't think I'd have it, but I can't remember what it's called anyways. Not an infestation that gives you flies. Hive mind? Yeah, hive mind. I don't think I do actually. I think I just forget how big the flies are in this game. Alright, well at least that's a good item. And these are both decent. Not hurting me. Alright, let's keep rolling. I was talking about something before, now I don't remember what it was. Too late now. Oh, the sushi. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. Like I enjoy some $5 Publix sushi. Although it's got a lot more calories than at least I would expect. I mean, I guess, you know, like fish is pretty calorically dense, like, and obviously rice is pretty calorically dense. So I guess it's not that surprising, but for some reason it kind of surprised me. I was like, oh yeah, sushi, it's like a light snack. I guess it is if you're comparing it to like, I don't know, going to like Cheesecake Factory, but it's not nothing. Like one of those $5 things is probably like 500 calories or something. It's like 10 sushi rolls with like a sauce or something. I will say I tried, so for once I stopped trying to lose weight, and I hate to use the word bulk because like it's like I work out, right? I lift weights pretty much every day, at least 6 days a week. And so, you know, I don't know if I'm really, I guess I am trying to bulk, right? But I don't know, I just feel like such a gym bro saying that. But anyways, so for when I'm trying to not lose weight anymore, I've thanks number one, really appreciate it, taking away all my range at a moment's notice like that. Anyways, I was looking at meals I could make, And one of the ones I saw was like people were talking about like, oh, like a pad thai you could meal prep. And I tried it out, and you know what? It was pretty dang good. And it wasn't like too bad prep wise. It probably took like 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to do the whole thing, you know. Put the rice noodles in and cut up the chicken and cook the chicken. Pull the noodles out, put in the vegetables, put in the egg, put in the chicken, put in the noodles. And part of what makes it easier to make is I'm not bothering with like the bean sprouts or the crushed peanuts or anything like that. Like that all just seems like a little bit too much work. You know, and frankly, like peanuts pretty calorically dense. Not that I'm trying to lose weight at this point, but like I don't know. When you're like really thinking about like nutrition and stuff, the biggest thing is like not to snack a ton, because it makes it really hard to really track what you eat if you're constantly eating like a little bit of a bunch of things. It's like, how do you track that? It's easier to just eat like, you know, a quarter pound of chicken breast. It's pretty easy to quantify, as opposed to like if you went to like a buffet and you got like 8 different entrees. It's like, how do you figure out how much that is? And the answer is you don't. You just kind of guess, and you're like, whatever. I'm at a buffet. Definitely, if you're at a buffet, the amount of calories you're taking in is probably, I was going to say it's the back of your mind. It's not at the back of your mind, because it's actually at the front of your mind, but it's in the opposite direction, right? Like, because you want to get your money's worth. What was the, what was that? Yeah. I don't know what that was. Let's just keep moving. But yeah, if you're, I mean, we've all been there, right? You go to like a, what's a good, just like any like Asian buffet, or I've never been to Golden Corral that I can remember, but that sort of thing. If you're feeling a little bit fancier, maybe call it a smorgasbord. In Ocean City, Maryland, there's I think it was the place apparently my mom used to go to a lot. Like when her family was on vacation when she was a kid, they would go to the Paul Revere Smorgasbord in Ocean City. I mean, I don't know what it has to do with Paul Revere personally, but if I don't want to say anything bad about the restaurant, but I really don't think that Paul Revere really ate at that smorgasbord. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems a little bit unlikely. You know, I think in like the late 18th century, people were not just pulling up to the place, handing out $5, and then just loading up, eating like 2,000 calories in an hour. Yeah. I have to say, it's been a long time since I've been to like any sort of buffet or smorgasbord. But it's a very, I don't know, I think you kind of walk in with the feeling of like, oh, I'm going to eat so much shit. Or, they're like, walk in and you're like, I'm going to eat like, 2,500 calories to make sure I get my money's worth. And then by the end of it, you're like, why the hell did I try to eat 2,500 calories? Like I think it's the feeling that a lot of people, myself included, get when you even just like think about going out to a restaurant. You're like, oh, I'm gonna eat, especially like a restaurant someone else is paying for. You're like, oh, I'm gonna absolutely load up today at this restaurant. You're like, I'm gonna get an appetizer. I'm gonna get like a soup or even like a Caesar salad to start. Then I'm gonna get, a nice steak with some mashed potatoes, and then for dessert I'm gonna have, the tiramisu or like a cheesecake or something. It's just too much, and you realize that at like when the dessert is being brought to you, which is I think is why dessert is so sweet, because otherwise people wouldn't eat it, you know? Because like you realize, I think, when you're finishing your entree, you're like, that was too much food. But then you're like, well, the dessert's so sweet. Like, I gotta have the dessert, right? And so you like cram the dessert in, and then you like you head home and you're like, why did I do that to myself? Like, I feel terrible. I do not feel fulfilled. I feel like I should get thrown in an oven, baked and served on Thanksgiving Day, you know? Especially like with bread, like at an Italian restaurant, like an Olive Garden. If you talk about filling people up, like inhumanely, I think Olive Garden has got to be like way up there too. Freaking unlimited breadsticks and unlimited pasta and like a 4-course meal for like $20. I mean, it's not a great deal really, but like, pay $20 so you can eat like, ugh, that was close. So you can eat that much food, like, holy crap. I apologize if I talk so much like that I do talk so much about diet. It's just been on my mind a lot recently. Because like, oh man, this room. Find me a worse room in this game. Wow, okay. That worked, huh? I really didn't think that would work. Oh great, now I have to go back through it. Or do I? It's probably the first time I'll... Why did you take the bad trip pill? You knew what it was. Alright, let's just keep moving. Oh, Pyro... Pyro's kind of interesting. Let's roll with it. Let's roll with Pyro. You know? Could be helpful. Every now and... Because the thing about Pyro in this game, right? Every now and then, you just get hit by something, you're like, why didn't that do any damage? And it's like, oh, well, technically that's an explosion. Like, I think Mom's Foot doesn't do any damage to you if you have Pyro. I don't know. This one's actually more powerful than I'm giving it credit for. $3 bill is, like, secretly, like... It's a very chaotic item, but it's actually pretty good, because most of the time you're actually getting decent effects. And so most of the time you just have, like, a decent passive item getting added to whatever your run is. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, I should probably be studying for the CPA exam right now. But, you know, do I really want to do that? I'm not taking that test for it, or the first section of it anyways, for like at least, what day is it? For like at least a month. You know, I'm already like halfway through the book. I don't need to. But I probably should. I actually did do any studying today, which is incredible considering I had nothing to do today. You know, you ever have a day like that? You're like, I have nothing to do today. Or I have one thing to do today, and I still didn't get that done. That's why I think actually getting things done is easier when you have like 4 things to do in a day. Because it like keeps you moving, you know? Because if you have one thing to do in a day, you're like, yeah, I can do that later, you know, whatever. But if you have like 5 things to do today, you get out of bed at like 8, you're like, oh, I gotta get the first thing done. And then you get the first thing done, you're like, okay, you know what? While I'm doing things, while I'm out doing this one thing, I'll do things 2 and 3, right? And then you finish things 2 and 3, and it's only like 11 a.m. And then you're like, well, let's just knock off 4 and 5 while I'm at it. And then it's 1 p.m. and you're like done for the day with your errands, right? But when you got one thing to do, you wake up in the morning, you're like, yeah, I think I can take some time, make breakfast, watch a movie. It's on Netflix. I've seen a million times. You know. Oh, look, it's lunchtime. Go downstairs, have some deli meat. Help clean out the fridge a little bit. Watch some more Ozark. And then it's like 7 p.m. and you're like, oh, I did not do like the one thing I was supposed to do today. You know? It's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? I mean, most of the time I am a pretty productive person, but Gertie Jr. can screw himself between two boards to hold them together, because that's the kind of screw I was talking about. I don't know exactly why. So, you know, maybe this has changed as of when this is coming out. I kind of doubt it, but maybe it has. Ooh, oh, great, Crystal lost teleportation. Whoa, these are some weird. Those are some weird weird tears going on. I was gonna say something. Now I don't remember. Thank you, Tell Pills. Oh, okay, well, I'm right here. Alright, get me to the boss room, please. Before I die by playing like an idiot. I am actually sliding a lot in this run. Oh, alright. Blast assist. No big deal. Come on. I was gonna ask if this is an XL. This is taking a long time to get to, huh? Be nice if I could just get to the room. Jeez, how far? Where is this boss room? Where is it? I hate having Curse of Lost on like the womb. It just sucks. Oh, this room is gonna take a couple hearts from me because I'm gonna run through it on my way back. There we go. Freaking finally, dude. Who we got? Oh yeah, right. This is the second floor. Who did I fight on the last floor? Whatever. It does not matter because I am living right now. Alright, just don't play like an idiot and you'll win this run. It's that simple. Is this a real devil deal or it is, yeah. Nah, I think we gotta keep the survivability. And I am, you know what? Let's fight Isaac. We're gonna have to do it a bunch anyways to unlock everything, so let's go for it. Cathedral. Not a fun floor, for sure. I just remembered I have 9 lives, so if I start dying, then the end of this run is going to be very sad. It's going to be very long and drawn out. My speed is really only marginally improved over the course of this run. Oh, come on. I was hoping it would be a little bit better than this at this point, but you take what you get. What is this texture on the floor? What? That is weird. So you guys drafting in your... Ooh, almost stepped on those freaking spikes. You guys drafting in your fantasy football leagues? Personally, I mean, I'm a Ravens fan, so I'm a big fan of Lamar. Wow, we just tore straight to this boss room. Sorry, game, I didn't mean to insult you. I'm a big fan of Lamar Jackson, personally. I mean, despite winning MVP last year, which is arguable, I don't know if he's really the most valuable player in the league. I mean, you gotta give it to, like, Christian McCaffrey, right? Dude was like, okay, do not die. Heal yourself, actually. Yeah, there you go. That was, see, that was a smart move. A rare smart move on my part. That was a little tight. Yeah, I don't think he should have won MVP last year, really. Like, even I think, like, Josh Allen was pretty dang good last year. I mean, and so was Patrick Mahomes, but to be fair, he really wasn't all that great until the playoffs started, so. Anyways, that was a bit of a tough run near the end. Partially my undoing. But thanks for watching, and we're gonna get back on it. Hopefully I'll be able to keep recording these and keep going on time, and well, I'll see you in the next one.